Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. AJ, Rudolph, Meghan coming to you live as the Avs taking on the Chicago Blackhawks today. It's safe to say, must win?
Yep.
Must win? Are we there? Are we at must win territory?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Although, I mean, when you say like a game is like must win, it's like, what are the consequences if you lose? Well, the sun comes up tomorrow, and then they get to the halfway point in their next game. So it's not like a do or die must win, but I mean, come on.
I hear it. It's Chicago.
You've lost 6 of 7. You've only got 3 of the last 14 points.
Yep.
Available to you. You need these points. You need to win this game. You just have to.
That simple. Lots of reason for Chicago to not win. Obviously, they're actively tanking at this point.
Patrick Kane is hurt.
Yeah, Patrick Kane is out.
Their leading point getter is Max Domi with 28 points.
Not even close
Their
to point per game pace.
Max Domi with 12.
Not a good hockey team, to say the least. It would certainly be. I don't know if it's a team to get right against. There you go. Jesse can be halfway in the shot because he was late.
Oh, God.
How do you feel about Charles
Wow, y'all here. Jesus.
Yeah, what's it like being on the Houdon couch?
Something
I hate it over here. So far away from where I'm supposed to be. And y'all here doesn't even want me on camera. This microphone's all wobbly. Hi, gang.
Maybe.
Hello,
Dude, my
welcome.
microphone is wobbly as shit, man. It's just seems
No, dude, I know. I've been asking y'all here for an Allen key for like 6 months now
All right.
to fix that one.
All right.
yeah.
We got Salt and Saltier on the show today.
Well, hey, I hate wobbly mics.
Everybody has a pet peeve, man.
Weird specifics, but all right. Fair enough. $10 from Irish, who says, feeling some good vibes for a win tonight. I mean, I would hope so against Chicago. Look, I'm curious where you guys look at the next stretch of games. There are a lot of winnable ones for Colorado. How much of this falls on the shoulders of Nathan MacKinnon to get this team where it needs to be right now? We saw Mikko Rantanen kind of put the team on his back for a while MacKinnon is out. Is it MacKinnon that needs to step up here and lead the charge, or is this more of a team effort?
I mean, we've got a trio of guys that we're talking about someday being in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It should be those 3.
All 3 of them together?
Yeah.
It's not McKinnon's turn?
Yeah, it's not, this has to be this guy. It's got to be all 3 of them. No NHL team functions with one guy doing absolutely all of it. Connor McDavid has 80 assists every year to guys who are not him.
It's true.
So, you need them all.
I was going to say, no, the Avs, the reason they're right here is because you haven't had the full group going. You have 3 very this game tonight is honestly, like, it's already so annoying to me. Because if they win, it's they should have won, they had to win. And if they lose, it's like you can't lose this game.
You can't lose this
game. But you have 3 games coming up here that are all very winnable. Very winnable. Chicago, Detroit, Ottawa. You need 3 very good team efforts. If Nathan MacKinnon single-handedly wins these next 3 games, you're in the same spot that you're in right now. You just got 3 wins. The team needs to pick up its play. You need the depth to come through.
They need the points, even if it's just Nathan MacKinnon, but you really do need the team to figure it out.
The third period of the Florida game, I hope they learned something about themselves or were reminded something about themselves and their ability to score goals. And that is a team-wide effort. It's more than just Nathan MacKinnon. And we see, too, over these last stretch of games, why looking to one player, in this case I'm thinking of Cale Makar, can be troubling because he's taking on too much responsibility. Ryan Boulding was telling me, because we're talking a lot with Cale Makar about usage at this time, and he has even said in his own words that he plays the game a little bit differently when he's taking on this many minutes, and we've seen it in his play so far. And so to answer the question of can you point to just Nathan MacKinnon, it does have to be a team-wide effort for that reason. When it falls on one player's shoulders, that's when you see mistakes get made, because it is really hard to seize that role on a team that is hurting in so many other areas right now.
$10 from Banks coming in, and not overly concerned for the season, but if we lose tonight, need this one. Come on, boys. Need a whole team execution.
They don't have
tonight.
a regulation win since December 17th. It's time.
Been a hot minute. They've squeaked some out in overtime, but
Yeah, the overtimes and shootouts have been the only reason that they've been able to keep themselves afloat.
Yep.
They have 12 regulation wins this year. It's game 40. It's time. Like it's
yeah.
Your schedule is now shifting into a much softer portion.
You're getting
of it.
easier teams. Your health is moving in the right direction.
And there are days off. Like they're gonna have rest. The both goalies are now healthy. Like it's time. It's just time. There's no more like. Yes, the injuries are going to continue to keep them from being peak Avs, but there's no reason that these guys should be losing to Chicago, Ottawa, and Detroit.
It is Pavel Francouz tonight, by the way, which is what we expected.
Which was wildly predictable.
Yeah. Against a team like Chicago. Should be able to beat them.
Interesting. Do you guys give him a short leash tonight?
No. Georgiev needs a night off. He's started 14 straight games.
Yeah, he's also had days off in that time. So
Sure, but I mean that's still 14 straight starts.
But that's what I'm saying. Like tonight is against a team where if he gives up 2 goals in the first 5 minutes of the game, do you just be like, boo, 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 boo,
it very
boo.
much depends on what the team in front of him looks like.
Yeah, I was
to
gonna
me,
say.
if the team in front of him is shitting the bed, then no, I don't have a short leash on him. But if the Avs look good in front of him and he left in a softie, I think you got to do it. But
a softie or because I'm not doing it after. Yeah, I'm not doing it after.
If you're down 1-0, you don't pull him.
Like that's
but
way
like
cold.
say he lets in a softie and then another one, even if it's a good goal. Like if they're down 2-0 in the first and the Avs are playing well, you really got to think about it.
You actually think he's going to pull them after 2 goals if they're playing well?
Yes, they need the win.
Shot, dude.
Yeah, I just don't know how deep of a hole do you accept. The guy that has not played, because you're talking about, Georgiev needs the night out. Well, Frankie hasn't played in
I know, but
a while now,
but
so
but
might
still,
be a little rusty.
You just with the way that this season has started for them, they've leaned on Georgiev a lot harder than they've needed to, or a lot harder than they thought they were going to.
Yeah,
it
was not what they wanted.
No, I just don't see a situation. I wouldn't even be surprised if Frankie gets 2 of these next 3.
I can see Meghan reaching for the knife.
I
just think it's interesting because you've lost 6 of 7. You need points. Like you need points.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you're now. I mentioned this. You're now closer to Arizona in the standings than you are to Dallas.
Right. So
like you need them.
And now I want to make sure I'm clear before I say this. I think Georgiev has been fine, but like he has lost 6 of 7.
Bad.
He's lost 6 of 7. He needs a night off. He needs a mental reset. Throwing him into a game where you're getting shellacked by a Chicago team or you're not playing well.
Well, that's what
and you're feeling like you need to pull Frankie. I just don't think it's a good idea to.
Right.
Put Georgiev in that situation.
The only way you're pulling it is if you believe you can win this game, and it's Pavel Francouz that's
but I also think it'd need to be more than 2 goals before you'd feel that
I think you can't win the game if it gets beyond 2 goals.
Oh, I don't know.
I was going to say.
I get they just came back from 3 down the other day.
This is your weird,
but
your weird anytime you have a 2-goal deficit, the game's over thing.
I don't believe that unless you're in the 3rd period. Then the game should be over if you play well.
Guy in the 3rd period.
Right, exactly. But
that's why I thought it was interesting because, like, the importance of they're on a losing streak. Frankie hasn't played in a while. Like, I mean, I think it's game 40. Like, you probably let him play through it, and it's just
right.
a night off. And
Meghan, I want to know your take on this one.
What if? If it's 3 in the first period, like,
well, here, hold on. So I want to hear what she says because I was going to say something.
Okay.
About 3.
I am inclined to see it through with Frankie. It depends on a couple of factors. One, just the type of first period that they have. Like, are we talking if this is happening within the first period, 2 goals allowed?
Yeah. I mean, if he's given up 2 goals in 2 periods, I'm not going to be mad at him for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
this is just about a poor start for me.
So we're looking at a first period, 2 goals against. Where are these goals coming from? How do they happen? So obviously, okay, they're soft goals. If that's the case, have the Avs also scored any goals in this first period?
I wouldn't pull them if they're not down by at least 2 for sure.
Yeah. For me, this isn't a conversation unless it is a deficit, and unless Frankie is squarely at the heart of the goals against.
Because even if it's a 2-goal deficit and we're looking at like 2-4, I don't know, that would be really dramatic, to be honest. But I still feel inclined to give him a second period at that point. It will depend on how the Avs look in front of him. Are they creating chances? How does it from start to finish of that period? Do they start to gain possession in the offensive zone? Just because I really do think Georgiev needs the night off, and I'm not expecting Frankie to play badly.
No, I'm not either, for the record.
Right. Well, I was going to say, all this conversation is because he hasn't played in a month.
Well, and it wasn't even about that. It was mostly just like the combination of the Avs really need to win this hockey game.
So what I was going to say was if you are talking about something where it's kind of like what happened in Vancouver, where it's 3 goals, all one right after the other, and you can point to at least 2 of them and say that is poor play or rusty play from Frankie. Outside of like a scenario like that unfolding in the first half of the first period, I am probably just leaving him in for the night and trusting that you're going to get a decent, because he also needs the reps. Like he does. Yeah, you're in the back half of the season. Like he needs to get going.
Let's be honest. They should dominate this game possession wise anyway. Frankie's job shouldn't be that hard tonight if the Avs play well.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It would need to be like the wheels come off all under 5 minutes. Like, and it just goes terribly.
I was just curious. I hadn't thought about it until I sat down.
His dad.
They might if he plays poorly enough.
Also, if you pull Frankie, does that like crush Martin Kaut because his dad just got pulled? Sorry, Martin Kaut's actual dad.
He's like,
well, he still have someone to sit next to on the bench.
Nice.
Is Frankie dead? Is Frankie Kaut's dad like Foodie's fake parents or his parents?
So many parents. Greg Cronin even kind of described as being like a dad to Foodie.
I feel like we're all Jean-Luc Foodie's parents at this point.
I do
like,
think
we're all very
that
protective
is true.
of him.
I do think that's true.
Okay.
Anyway,
sorry, I derailed whatever topic we were going.
My food was coming up the stairs. So I was
just curious. I was just curious about the Frankie thing.
The other topic I wanted to get into here, this may be the littlest of auditions for players on Chicago.
Yeah, every game is, but especially when you're talking about a team that you know is going to go shopping at the deadline, a team that you know is looking to make itself better and is taking it seriously. I mean, if you're Max Domi, you should be trying to show out against any of these guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Because, like, if you're Colorado and you're like, look, we don't really have, we don't want to spend the assets or we don't have the cap space to make whatever move. Like, Max Domi is kind of your, hey, that guy could drop in. He could be your 2C or he could be your 3C because, to be honest with you, JT Compher's been really good this year.
Not the conversation for today, but I don't know if Domi's a C on this team. But anyway.
Well, the point is that he could be.
Like, what I'm saying is that he's been playing
really well. Yeah,
like this is the best that Max Domi has played in the NHL in a long time, and it's happening at center. So for a team that's going shopping specifically for a center,
look, you're preaching to the choir here. I love Max Domi. I'm all about it.
So, but you also know, like, there's also the fear of, okay, well, Max Domi got this exact opportunity last year with Carolina,
and it didn't go
well. Didn't do anything with it. So there's fear there.
What? So, because I was on the CHGO show yesterday, and we got to talking about Jonathan Toews. Forget costs and everything like that. What do you guys think of Jonathan Toews just as a fit on this absent, or just as a player at this point? He started off the year really well, and now he's just kind of like, it's fine. He seems to, like, he has that potential to me where it's like he could, if you brought him to a place like Colorado, put him in a top 6 where he could be the 6th guy out of 6.
Yeah, that
and like, hey, just
it's really boring. But the conversation here is he's not going to hurt you in that role.
Right, he's not going to hurt you, and he'll chip in here and there. Like,
well, and if it doesn't go great, like if he does not like thrive in that 2C job, then you have a Rodriguez or you have a Compher that slides up, and then Jonathan Toews is your 3rd center.
Right.
Like, then now you're talking about he's in a position that he's never really been in before, but he does check some boxes for you along the way. He's a guy that you want to put out there for an endgame face-off situation.
Right.
He's still fantastic in the face-off circle. He does not blaze up and down the ice the way that he used to. You know, he's not the player that he was, but I've long been, I think it's the smartest, most cost-efficient move.
Yeah.
because I also think that teams are going to absolutely love the intangibles, the captaincy, the leadership of 3 Stanley Cups, like has walked the walk for a long time, is very, very accomplished in his career.
Yeah.
You know that's not a guy that is going to, and when you do bring in cost, he's not going to cost a first-round pick. He's not going to cost.
You don't think so?
No. They're just better players on the market.
Yeah.
At this point, and with the limitations of his salary, he can't go very many places. He also gets to play a part in this process where he's not going to want to go to certain places. It was mentioned the other day. I think Winnipeg is the most fun answer, like him going back to Winnipeg and being the 3C there for their cup for their cup run this year. I think it would be fun, but in Colorado, I think he'd be a great fit. Even if it doesn't work at 2C.
In the middle 6.
Yeah, even if it doesn't work there, you're like, look, he's probably an upgrade over your 3C spot, and it really checks a major box for you, in that it does give you a face-off guy to play around.
I want to ask Megan this because I know AJ for sure is interested in this. Are the Avs looking at Jack Johnson tonight, maybe? Thinking about him as a potential 7th D option?
I'm laughing not because it's a funny question or an unserious one. I think they genuinely would be. They are familiar with what he brings to the table, too, so I don't even think they need to look all too closely. But they probably are eyeing a different option for a depth defenseman when looking at the later half of the season, and they know what Jack Johnson brings to the table. I'm sure they'd like to see, because he has a little bit of an elevated role in Chicago's D-core, I'm sure they'd like to see how he seizes that responsibility and get a look at that, but I also think they're pretty familiar with him. But I don't hate the idea of a Jack Johnson return. It just kind of depends on the circumstances that warrant it. Like, where is an Andreas Englund in that conversation? And just because I think they would satisfy a similar need, but Jack Johnson would do it more reliably. But yeah, I don't think it's a silly question.
Can I just choose to ignore the salary cap and root for the Avs to get Jake McCabe off of Chicago instead?
I was going to say, because I've just had this gut feeling all year that it's going to end up being Jonathan Taves and Jack Johnson in a package deal at the deadline. I don't know where that ends up costing.
It just makes sense.
It does. And it makes sense because you can be like, hey, give us, we'll give you guys one of our forward prospects that's wanting to break into the NHL, Yep.
Like, dude, you can drop into your lineup tomorrow.
Yeah, pick a Jean-Luc Fudia, Sampo Ranta, one of those types of guys. It's not going to be one of Fudi might have honestly played his way out of being a guy that the Avs are like, yeah, sure, we'll
don't really want to get rid of that guy.
But there's this big glut of forwards that they could pick where.
See, Kaut is the one for me that thing is because he plays tomorrow.
Well, they could have had him for free on waivers if they wanted to do that.
True.
And that's where you're like, look, you give him a forward prospect, you also give him a draft pick of some kind,
right?
And
see, and the only reason I say Kaut is because tomorrow that dude he'd finish the season with Chicago. Whenever he got there, he would finish and get more minutes there than he's gotten here. So that's the only reason I think it's like you could just sell him on. Here, he is an NHL.
It just comes down to whichever one Chicago wants, right?
Right.
Yeah, and that's like whatever, like whichever name, Olausen is probably a no-go for you in that conversation.
Yeah, I do. I ultimately, for whatever reason, I think it's Jonathan Taves and Jack Johnson at the deadline for some package of a couple, an early pick, a late pick, a couple prospects here and there.
Yeah. Something like you get one of these forward prospects, and then you get like a third round pick, and then if you need even something more, like take Vladislav Kamenev's rights or something.
Like something else. And then if you got to throw a pick to Arizona to
as long
more
as
salary
it's
to
like
make
a
it
later, like let's just continue with the Avs should only pick in the first round this year.
Dude, rounds
5 through 7. Let's go.
Dump
Avs.
them. Yeah.
I loved last year. If the Avs for the next 5 years had picks round 1 and 7, I would just be giddy.
Forget the 7.
Get rid of
Don't
everything.
Need the 7.
Sure.
No 7, please.
Just get rid of everything else.
No offense, Chris Romaine.
I loved last year's draft.
He was the 6th. Zigalov was the 7th, right? So Chris Romaine's safe.
You're right.
I'm assuming Blaze didn't send us any bets today. Yeah. All right. Well, it's a tough tough game to bet on for Colorado. I'm not going to lie to you. On the money line,
to find value in that.
They're minus 320 on the money line tonight.
All right, so just pick Chicago, dude. You're trying to make some money.
Just
throw some money on the Blackhawks and
bet on the Avs to implode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how you're going to end up positive. You could pick some fun goal scorers, probably.
Yeah, pick Jack Johnson as an anytime goal scorer.
Nathan MacKinnon plus 105 to score a goal. There you go. That's maybe some safe positive money. I mean, go in there. Just go over to DraftKings and find a bet you'd like. Patrick Kane is hurt, and he's still plus 240. So
why would you doubt Taves would pick Colorado? Colorado would have to be one of the most intriguing options out there.
The only reason Taves would leave would be to go win a cup, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway.
Well, and not to mention he wears number 19 because of Joe Sakic.
Yeah.
I imagine he'd be pretty intrigued.
Can he come here and take 9 from Rodriguez so that I can tell the difference between Rodriguez and McCarr?
Yeah, dude, seriously. He drives me nuts.
Rodriguez gets kicked to 10.
Yeah.
When are we, DraftKings, when are we going to get betting on players' numbers? That's what we need in our lives. Head over to DraftKings.
To a division rival?
Use the DNVR code when you sign up. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See the show notes down below for details. Of course, you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. All right. We're going to get out of here for the pregame. We're less than 10 minutes away from puck drop. Got a watch along coming your way. And, of course, if you don't want that, at least tune in for the postgame where we will break down whatever happens, good or bad, in this one. We hope to see you there. Like and subscribe on YouTube. That helps us out a bunch. That informs you of when we go live and stuff. Just hit 31,000 subscribers. We're moving pretty fast so far. So let's get that to 100K, and we can get that play button. That's all I really want in life.
It's seriously all he wants.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.